Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Couch Crows. I'm your host, Andrew, the Comic Crow, and joining us is, of course, the always fabulous BPM. Please go, buddy.
What's up, guys? BPM here. Follow me on YouTube. That's going to be Broly Power Maximum.
Not as much energy today, bro. Come on. Really oomph it up.
Hello, fans across the world, no, the universe. You already know and love me. I'm Broly Power Maximum, the champ. That's right. Remember, find my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Broly Power Maximum. Who's the champ? Do you love me?
And as Chris Rager puts it, his humor is so deep. Not many people get it unless, you know, they understand comedy. Please introduce yourself, buddy.
Flawless introduction. I'm DeepHumor. I think that BPM has less energy because he needs apples. And that's my identity. Josh Martin, I guess.
That is a perfect transition for what we're going to be going over first. We have Chris Rager, voice of Hercule, the champ. Fucking. You did a video on him. I did a video on him. I think we both did a video on Josh Martin too, but I think our videos were a little bit different. You had Chris Rager just jump into the comments section on one of your videos. Do you mind describing what that was about?
Yeah, so that's actually what started the whole issue with me, Josh, and Chris. So the video that he actually commented on wasn't even about him. It was a video I made about Monica Real getting paddled at that con, which, by the way, my point was, and everyone already knows this if you watch the video, isn't it weird that she's accusing others of inappropriate sexual behavior, yet here she is getting paddled in front of an audience that probably didn't want to come there to see that for quote-unquote charity, right? So that was the point of the video. So Chris Rager commented on the video and he said, "You people are so stupid, it's sad." So I was like, alright, thanks for the positive criticism, I guess. So I commented and I replied and I said, "Aren't you the guy who makes fun of people's mothers like a petulant child on Xbox?" And he didn't really like that much. And then a day later, Josh Martin actually commented on a video that I made specifically about him when he went on his original Twitter tirades about, making fun of people's grammar, and then he told Pixlexia to stay mute, if you guys all remember that.
We were talking about that with Mr. Josh Martin yesterday.
Yeah,
I think you'll love his defense. I'll read it out to you later.
But so he commented on that, and he said that he didn't make any grammatical errors, and he said, it was just baby talk. It was just a bunch of bullshit. He obviously made a typo, and he was trying to make excuses to try to defend it, right? So I was just like, if you genuinely stand by the statement that you wrote that correctly, you're a moron. Also, what is with you and your friends' obsession with childish insults? You guys are like 45 years old and grow up. So I'm not trying to attack them. I'm just saying, if you're gonna come on my video and you're not even gonna try to provide any sort of criticism or I disagree, blah blah blah. If you want to just come and attack me, I am gonna defend myself.
No, I mean I think that's perfectly fair. I mean, so Chris Rager put out this little poem to you. I don't know if he had you blocked at that point. I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
I read it in all its glory.
So I quote tweeted that poem with my own, and I was just like, I can't even remember what it was because it was just really quick and stupid.
It was so funny. It was very beautifully written. I enjoyed it.
I did actually. Yellow Flash did a video where he read it out. I was just like, "Oh, thank you, buddy." But he quote tweets. I quote tweeted him with the poem, and he starts tweeting out at me, taking his shots, and I just started swinging right back at him. And apparently, he started saying that I was recycling jokes until I pointed out that he was stealing jokes off of fucking Brooklyn Nine-Nine and high schoolers. So he got really pissed off and blocked me immediately when I did that.
Why not, dude? You can't talk to the champ that way. Come on.
Yeah, man. He's a champ.
He pulled out the I'm an internationally known VA, and I'm like, okay,
no.
Okay.
Oh no. So that's why he blocked you.
Yeah, it was really
blocked
funny.
me for a different reason. So I quoted his tweet that you were just talking about, his lovely poem to me, right? And then I was like, basically what I said was, "You're a 45-year-old man making jokes about STDs. You should grow up," right? And then he's like, "Hepatitis C isn't an STD, actually." And then I googled it for like 5 minutes, and I showed him like 3 articles. I was like, actually, it is. So I guess it's wrong. And then the next thing I know, I'm blocked. I'm like, all right.
I was telling him, like, dude, you really need to go get your Hep C checked out. I think it's affecting your mental capacity. He was like, there's nothing wrong with my mental capacity. I'm like, you're not offended by me saying you have Hep C? So apparently... I think we have a condition confirmed on Chris Rager. It might explain his baby skills going on. Josh Martin, though, has been spamming apples for close to a week since he made that little thread towards you.
Today's day 7.
Oh my god, it's been a whole week now. Yay!
And congratulations.
But in it, let's see, because honestly, I'm not digging through their tweets anymore. I have to open up the Pornhub tab or use an alt account or something to read Chris Rager's tweets. And Josh Martin requires me to swim through 7 days of Apple spam, so I'm not doing it. But he made a threat towards you. Do you remember exactly what he had said?
Oh yeah. So let me find the exact thread. But I basically tweeted out his comment originally. That's what I did. Okay, yeah. So I found the original thread. So I said, I tweeted out Josh Martin's comment towards me that I described earlier, and I said, "This confirms that the Chris Rager account that commented on my other YouTube video is real, because these 2 guys are real-life best friends. I doubt 2 guys who are impersonating these 2 commented within 1 day. That's very unlikely. These are most likely the real accounts of these guys." So I tweeted that out, and I said that he's behaving like a 6-year-old. Somebody tagged Josh Martin and was like, what the fuck are you doing? So then he responded, and then he was adding me. He was like, keep my name out of your mouth or videos, or else. And then he said, eat an apple. So then I responded with, I'm going to make videos on whatever the fuck I want, buddy. So, you can go and say, eat an apple. I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to mean. And ever since then, I'm slurring my words. Ever since then, he was actually getting destroyed by the community because everybody had saw the blatant threat he made against me. And, I thank everyone in the community a lot. I really appreciate it. But, yeah, ever since then, it's been constant Apple memes that he's been spamming at everybody, literally. Pretty much everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is these people, everybody who's talking with him, they leave the conversation for a couple days at a time, at least a few hours, and he's just still there spamming the apples. Supposedly on vacation.
He got really pissed with me. So, I think it was yesterday, I was like, dude, aren't you supposed to be on vacation? Shouldn't you be spending time with your family instead of spamming apples? Which one's more important? And he immediately responds with, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And I'm like, dude, I didn't mention your wife, man. I'm telling you.
He really tried to take the moral high ground with that one.
He totally.
You didn't say his wife was a bitch. You said go spend time with your wife. He was really trying to be like,
spend time with your family. I told him, dude, I have no clue if you even have a wife. I thought you and Chris Rager were in a special relationship.
Isn't that what you meant?
Oh man, yeah, no, that really butthurt him. So he hopped out of the thread for 2 minutes so that he could start DMing people apples, and Cherokun shared the DM.
So not only is he replying in all these threads with apples, he's going out of his way to spam Apple DMs to people.
The thing that worries me, and yeah, like what you just said, the DMs, but the thing that worries me is that he writes a unique, tweet with every single Apple meme, meaning he's not just sitting there copy and pasting something and sending and being like, look, I'm a troll. I'm making these guys mad. He's literally typing a unique tweet for every single person, meaning he's taking the time out of his day to do that, which really makes me kind of feel bad for him.
I don't know. I think we've made him irrelevant again. He was very irrelevant before, so this has got to be a very big boost to his self-ego.
Yeah, but I tweeted about this earlier today. That wasn't my intention. I didn't even tag him in the original tweet, but I guess he really pissed off the community by threatening me. That's not my fault. That was his own fault. but I just said I kind of felt guilty because technically I started all of this. But I mean, it was more of their outrageous response to my slight criticism.
I mean, like, the thing was, it wasn't just you that he had gone after. Pixlexia, right? She does a lot of art and shares it with a lot of people in the community. Okay, I got her. I think I got her tweet pulled up that she had sent to him. It's the funniest thing. This is from Josh Martin himself, so not a totally biased source for against Josh Martin here, except maybe his mental deficiencies have turned against him. Out of the blue, Pixlexia chimed in with a comment about me being a pocket pussy for someone. Josh Martin is definitely a pocket pussy for someone. Then suggested they could voice over my job better than myself, even though they were mute. I said, stay mute and let me do my job. No apologies. So I'm going like, people are telling him he's mocking people with a disability. Like he's going after someone. And some people had jumped in and they said, like, look, maybe he's trying to make a joke. But even his own comment there, it's pretty clear. He was butthurt that she had insulted his voice acting. So he decided to turn around and mock her for being mute. And I'm going like, okay, buddy. But then he takes it one step further to say that she's a claimant of being a mute and that she has to prove it. Everyone else has to prove that she's a mute. And so they're going like, dude, how fucking old are you?
So you guys should prove that Vic Mignogna sexually assaulted people. That logic, right? But, I mean, yeah, I didn't ignite the reason why they're being douchebags on Twitter. They actually did this months ago. That original thing that he's talking about, that was actually a while ago. I just meant, like, this recent tirade that the two have been going on. I guess that's my fault, but, I mean, other people are jumping in.
I wouldn't say that that's your fault, man, because
they came to your video.
Yeah. Look, you weren't talking. You didn't make a tweet saying, hey, Josh Martin is, hey, Chris Rager is this. You didn't make a video slamming them or slamming their performances or even talking about something they did. You made a video about somebody else. Chris Rager jumped in, so you talked about Chris Rager. Josh Martin jumps in. And then from there, they just been acting like little fucking babies.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not saying in a way like, oh, I'm so guilty. No, I don't take back anything I said. I just mean like in terms of a chain of events, like this kind of happened because I responded. But it's fine. I mean, whatever. They can go on their tirades, right? But the whole saying someone should stay mute and stuff like that, making fun of someone's actual personal problem, I think that's not, I think they're taking it way too far. Because even in my criticism of Josh Martin, I never said Josh Martin's a fat motherfucker or he's bald or anything like that. I didn't say anything like that in my video. I'm not like some other YouTubers who always make personal attacks about people. I criticize them based on their tweets on their public Twitter, right? So I was like, Josh Martin, that's pretty fucked up for you to make fun of someone's grammar and all that other stuff. So I'm not making any personal attacks, yet they're taking it personally. And it just goes to show how thin-skinned and arrogant these voice actors are.
Oh, I mean, look, they, gosh, I don't want to spend the entire time talking about them just because I feel like the more we talk about them, the more we're kind of giving them attention that they really don't deserve. But they are just terrible, terrible, terrible people. And when you try to talk to them, I've had people jump in and just be like, hey, you shouldn't go and say those things, or hey, like, why are you doing this, or just stuff like that. He just spams apples at them. And it's just like, Jesus, man. I know that I've personally offended this dude because he's been making a couple of shots at me and my channel and telling me that he would pay to have me sent over to them so that we could have a chat face-to-face. And I'm just going like, dude, I did not think that would end well for you. But I love the internet tough guy threats. Those are the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to talk about fighting someone on Twitter, but, whatever. But I completely agree with you that talking about them is a waste of time and all that, but they kind of, this whole thing with me and them is kind of the only reason I'm relevant right now, so I thought that a lot of people who are watching this would want to know about that. But no, you're absolutely right.
Well, I don't have any more thoughts on them, not that they have very many thoughts on themselves. Do you guys want to chime in before we move over to the next topic?
Yeah, just these guys are what, mid-40s, acting like children, calling other people children, your mom's jokes, the whole shabam. Like, grow up and act your age. Stop insulting the would-be fan base. You know, unless you want people, the only people to come and see you are like 50 plus. Like, shut up about people's age.
What about you, Deep?
That's pretty much it. I mean, really, this whole thing is about maturity. Like you said, act your age. That's it.
Okay, so we're back here, and right now, DeepHumor, if you do us a favor, please let us know how you kind of got involved with I Stand With Vic, a little bit how you started your channel. I know you said that you've been doing some videos on YouTube for a while, so I know this channel's kind of new, right?
Yeah, it is kind of new, about a year and a half old. I've always made like rant type of videos and stuff that really bothered me. Like I've made a lot of videos that thankfully has gotten a lot of views about my problems with modern feminism. But in terms of the Vic Mignogna situation, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Donald Trump is here, he'd say huge Dragon Ball fan. And I don't know, I've just loved the show ever since I was a kid. Obviously, I know a decent amount about the voice actors. And, you know, this whole Me Too thing and accusing someone without evidence and ruining their career, that is tied with Vic Mignogna. That's tied with both modern feminism and Dragon Ball. So two things that I'm somewhat interested in, you know? So I saw Vic Mignogna getting accused. I was like, okay, is there any evidence against him? There wasn't. So then I made a video and I was like, this is bullshit, right? So then I started making my other regular content, and then people on that video were commenting, oh, you know, this happened now, then this happened now, and they wanted me to make videos on that type of stuff. So then I just continued on.
One thing I was always wondering, right? Were you, when you said like they didn't have evidence, right? Because I had this conversation on Twitter with a couple people a while back, maybe just a couple days ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. It's hard to tell when I've just been having Apple spammed in my notifications. But I remember when I had heard about the whole thing, I was pretty neutral until I started hearing kind of what these claims actually were, how just completely bizarre most of them were, how there was no evidence. And I think for me, even when I was really apprehensive, once Monica came out with her stories, I was just like, yeah, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, when was the first time you heard about it, DeepHumor? How did you come to know about Vic in a situation?
Twitter. There was a Twitter news story on like Twitter's like homepage of news stories on like, you know, famous voice actor accused of sexual misconduct or something like that. I saw that thing, and then all of these people were sharing their stories and stuff like that. And then, you know, like you said, ComicCrowe, you know, about Monica Rial's statement. I read that, and then I was just like, so you're claiming this guy sexually harassed you and dozens of other women throughout conventions for decades. You know, conventions usually have CCTV cameras for security reasons. You guys can't provide one photo or video of him touching someone in an inappropriate way, and the girl looks visibly in discomfort and all that. Not one? And in fact, it was the opposite. We were finding photos of him with consenting individuals, male or female. And everyone was like, oh, he's such a great guy, he's so nice. And then I'm just like, everything right now is showing that you guys are either lying or severely exaggerating. But once again, it's innocent until proven guilty. You guys might be right, but you need to prove that, because innocent until proven guilty, like I said. In our society, it's really annoying how a woman can accuse a man of sexual assault or harassment and cry and say, this happened at this time, and his career, even without getting a chance to defend himself, it's ruined. He loses movie roles, TV show roles, sponsorships, without even defending himself. If I say that a woman sexually harassed me, I'll probably get laughed at.
Yeah, that's very true. And it seems like the more that these people talk, the Kick Vic voice actors and those associated with them who have been coming after Vic, it seems the less believable they become.
Completely agree, especially with the faulty parts of their story. Like originally, what's that girl, artist girl, where she said, "Oh, he sexually assaulted me," blah blah blah. She said something very contradictory, and then she said, "Oh, he didn't do it to me. I just believe victims." You guys know what I'm talking about.
You know,
stuff like that kept popping in.
Yeah, it was the. She had said that she had personally met with Vic 3 times when she was asked about his kind of behavior. And a lot of people took that to be Mars Girl was in some way harassed by Vic. And it wasn't until I think a week or two later when she then clarified, no, we never had any physical contact. So I'm sitting there going, like, why didn't you clarify that at the time? Why would you let people assume that you were assaulted? And then, for Stretch Arm Girl, it was just kind of like, I never said that, so it's not my fault. And I'm like, dude, you're the one who started this whole fucking movement, and you did it based off nothing.
Metaphorically speaking, she left enough meat on the bone for people to jump to a rash conclusion.
Yeah, but she's also been caught lying. Like when she posted that video of him doing a coffee line, and she specifically said that he asked fathers to leave the room and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
She's very manipulative. I've made videos, situations like that.
I mean, it's Mars Girl though. Has anyone heard? Like the last I heard from Mars Girl was she was trying to start God, I hate having to say this, an alleged scam GoFundMe to sue people, in which she was just going to take their money and rip them off, allegedly. Anyone hear anything beyond that?
Just the $1,500 to retain legal advice, supposedly. Even that wasn't really proved. It was just like 1,500, 0, a line, and then 1,500 or something like that. My thoughts about that is, if she asked for money to defend herself legally, then I don't think the people who hate her enemies would be as thrilled to jump on it. If they feel like they can attack people that they dislike, they're more likely to jump in. And that's just my skeptical nature. But I kind of expect that from these people, from what they've given me at this point.
I haven't heard about, I heard a little bit about that, and I think I'm talking about something that happened way before you guys were. Last I heard from Mars Girl was her wanting to dox Yellow Flash.
Mm-hmm.
This came out, I think, after the doxing. So she came out with this Facebook post, supposedly to a private Facebook group, and somebody leaked it, in which she was asking people to help her find Yellow Flash's information because she had consulted with an attorney, and that attorney had told her that they needed her to give them the information of Yellow Flash, which is incredibly false, and no attorney's office would tell you to do that because they have their own legal, they have their own like private investigators that they can hire. It just costs money. So then she comes out after that and says she needs money to consult with an attorney, which didn't make sense with the first thing of trying to dox Yellow Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, those two things together just make her come across like a complete idiot, but. And that's no news surprise to us. That's not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, and when she started that GoFundMe, she was not getting any traction. There'd be like a donation of $5 every 8 hours, and it was like at
until DC Douglas plugged it, Bathroom Boy.
Yeah, and Sean Schemmel, who she has a Tumblr statement for. They're kind of cliquish in the industry. They have kind of the same political ideas. And it rules them.
That's a hive mind.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
The thing that I will never get over is Mars Girl is all about going after Vic for being a creeper. And she's gaining all this support for her GoFundMe by DC Douglas, a dude who films himself in the women's restroom and actually gropes fans on camera.
Yeah, I saw that photo. You know a photo I'm talking about. The one.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Apparently that person was married, and both of the married couple gave him permission. I'm just like, that's even more disturbing to me.
Wow.
I mean, cuck confirmed for the husband.
That's what I was gonna say.
Look, I love my girlfriend. If she ever told me that she wanted to let anyone famous grope her, I'd be pissed. I would not give my consent. Period.
Yeah.
You'd have to change your name to the Comic Cuck.
You got right. who gives? And look, I'm totally glad that he had consent to do that, in the sense that he wasn't actually groping a fan without their permission or something. But at the same time, they're going after Vic for allegedly taking advantage of fans. So I'm going like, well, what do you think DC Douglas is doing?
Yeah,
like,
I don't think the main point was that he did it without her consent. I mean, I'm pretty sure she obviously gave her consent in a room full of people and all that. It's just when you say that Vic Mignogna engages in sexually inappropriate behavior, and your references are, oh, he eats a jelly bean with someone's name on it, yet one of your supporters is actually groping people.
And wasn't
Which one is
that
more sexually
interesting?
inappropriate?
They would not shut up about this investigation for the longest time, and they kept on pointing to it, and they kept on pointing to it, and the details were leaked, and they don't talk about it ever again.
Oh,
How
yeah.
embarrassing.
Speaking of which, Ron Soe, his leaked text came out, and I'm sure that you guys have seen the content of those.
Haven't actually.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope.
I'll give you the quick rundown. They were texts from Kamea between him and Ron Soe, in which back in January he was referencing the investigation to which my knowledge hadn't actually been concluded yet, or maybe not even started yet. I mean, this was way before any of the stuff broke. He was saying that this was all legit, that there was a legal investigation into Vic Mignogna, which is provably false. A whole bunch of other things, and basically saying that, you know, they really couldn't sign on board with Kamea if Vic was going to be there with all the problems I was going to cause. And I believe saying that, like, you know, they were making the right decision by canceling Vic. Pretty messed up stuff, right? So you have Shane Holmberg, a couple of the Kick Vic people, all kind of bragging about how Ty Beard had done something, basically impromptu and leaked out investigation details, which, you know, it's not privileged information, so he can do what he wants with it. They're basically going out there and saying that this could get the case dismissed and all this other shit. Ron Soe jumps in to fucking start backing up that level of stupid. And they basically asked, like, well, hey, why don't you just release the rest of the text messages if you're not scared of what they say? And he goes, well, no, we want to handle this in the courts. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he said, and I quote, we want to handle this the right way. And I'm just like, motherfucker, when have you guys ever gone about any of this in the right way? You just got caught, and that's your only defense.
You know what else could get a case dismissed? Hiding from court and avoiding court papers. Jamie, wait, what happened? Oh, my throat, what the hell? Must have got an apple stuck in there.
Yeah, she was tweeting about how excited she was to go home, just to make sure everybody knew that she wasn't afraid of getting served the papers.
I heard she claimed that wasn't even her house.
Sure, it looked like the same door.
Nah, dude, it's not. Eat more apples, then you'll think better.
Oh my god. She's finally served. Jamie Marchi is just... Okay, so I guess we should probably talk about the whole thing that happened with... it was Anime North was the convention she was at, I believe. So she got served. Then at Anime North, while she was away from home, a fan went to the convention and publicly asked her about the investigation. Or her being served, something like that. There's a lot of different stories going around about it. And I think that there's a video. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But to my knowledge, Vic has said publicly, I think all parties are kind of said, like, you know, they don't want people talking about this at the conventions and making a spectacle of it. But they turned it into a spectacle over social media for months. They were happily gloating about it for months. You can't then turn around and expect nobody to then ask you a public question about what's going on. But the fan asked this question, and she basically gets them thrown out of the convention. And then she starts laughing about how that's why that person will never have apparently I can't say this, SEX. Apparently you can't say that in YouTube.
Nope.
God, that's terrible. So she's mocking this person, then takes to Twitter, which she's got, you know, thousands of people blocked at this point, so they can't ratio her bullshit. And publicly just goes out and starts bragging about how she got them thrown out on their birthday. And I'm just like, wow, you're just an awful scumbag human being through and through.
Yeah, I've actually seen the video. The guy has at least a speech impediment, so I wonder if there's anything else going on, and she's just sitting here bullying him. That's what it looks like afterwards. So any moral high ground that she might have felt like she had, she lost just from being herself.
I mean, this is the lady who self-described herself as thought, so...
Yeah, I gotta take back that word.
Pretty thought-provoking.
Ooh. Let's do what you did there.
Yeah, there was never any moral high ground with Jamie Marchi.
Here's my thing with that. Don't go to cons, don't spend your money, don't go see these people and provoke them. If they bring it up, sure, challenge them, but, I mean, unless they've brought it up in that format, just leave them alone. You know, they're gonna be like, "Oh, look, this is proof people are harassing me." ... Because Vic.
Oh, look, I'm not. You know, as funny as it is to see someone have the cojones to go out there and do that, I'm not saying that people should do that, period. Really, because all you're doing is wasting your money. These people are not going to answer you. They're just going to spit down on you, and they're going to get you removed, and they're going to take to social media and brag about it, and then later go on about how they felt like they were being harassed. You are 100% correct. I'm just saying that as someone who is out there in the public, who's engaged in this social media brigading, who's had no issues dealing with it in the public, to then turn around and get somebody removed for asking you publicly the question, it's a little scumbag.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
obviously
it's definitely a double standard. And if you compare that to the way Vic handled criticism coming to him, just from like the old forums and whatnot, he would address things. He didn't kick people out. Maybe he would ask to be asked another question or something, but he would usually address things. Versus Jamie Marchi, your butt will be escorted out of this room.
Yeah, no, the whole thing with Jamie Marchi, that really did, like, getting someone thrown out on their birthday and just bragging about how you got that to happen. Like, I get it. He asked you a question, your little precious feelings were hurt, but you had no issues being an outright bitch over social media at people. God, I hate the double standard there. I really do.
Agreed.
Oh, gosh. I think we turned this whole stream into ragging on voice actors.
Yeah.
Let's ask some of the more staple questions, Crow.
Oh, I like the staple questions. This is my favorite question. All right, you ready, DeepHumor?
Yep.
Favorite anime? And why is it JoJo's Bizarre Adventures?
I've never even seen one episode of that.
All right, this is over. I'm going to remove you from the channel now,
well, it's
sir.
been
Dragon Ball
Z. What do you think of Super versus Z, then?
I personally think that Z is better. Well, Super was really good, but there's a lot of inconsistencies with the show, because like I'm a huge Dragon Ball nerd, like power scaling and stuff like that.
Yes.
Personalities, it means a lot to me.
Yes.
So when Beerus shows up to King Kai's planet and sees a base Goku who should be fucking insanely powerful by that time, and he says, "Oh, he doesn't look like he could beat Frieza." It's just like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. My thing was, I thought at that point, base Goku is so insignificant to Beerus. He's just thinking about Frieza and going like, yeah, they're both rats to me.
Yeah, but he shouldn't say that he's nothing compared to Frieza. You know, you say, he's probably on Frieza's level, but he was just like, oh, he doesn't look like he could beat Frieza.
I mean, then you look at these Saiyans from Universe, I think it's 6, right? The other universe.
Okay, that's when it just got totally out of whack.
And they look
Khalifa.
They look like Toon Link. They're super scrawny, and then they just like power up throughout years and years of these other Z characters training within
you feel a tingle in your back.
It's like, what the frick is happening? This just trivializes everything that I believed in. You completely like, okay, you're in the Dragon Ball universe, but you still have your own rules to follow. That's what makes it good.
Well, Khalifa, she went Super Saiyan 2 like right after going Super Saiyan. I'm just like,
oh, and just the explanation,
oh my
like,
God.
You have to feel a tingling in your back, and it's like, it used to be such a huge deal.
Yeah, it's just their power scaling is completely wrong. They sound like Death Battle, if you guys know what that is, but like,
I do.
The power scaling is so completely off. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, for example, when Vegeta was fighting Kaba in that tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7, Kaba got angry and went Super Saiyan and started fighting Vegeta on par. Doesn't make any sense. Super Saiyan is a multiplier. It multiplies off your base power. Super Saiyan 1 is a 50 times multiplier. So naturally, Vegeta's Super Saiyan should be way stronger than Kaba's Super Saiyan, because Vegeta is just naturally stronger.
Yeah.
Yet they're fighting on par. Makes zero sense.
Yeah, and I think the writers kind of excuse it by saying, like, this is just a love letter to Dragon Ball, but still, like, I really wish that it followed the rules of the universe.
I just assume that they're excusing it by saying, oh, this character's holding back, and this one's holding back, and this one's holding back, and this one's holding back.
But then it goes against the nature of their character if they keep saying
completely.
Like, if they want to say that Goku's holding back in certain situations, that's fair, but if someone makes Vegeta angry, he's not really going to hold back anymore.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's stuff like that. But I think one more point.
Yeah.
I just think that it's like they're gonna also use the excuse of, oh, it's been so many years, we forget things, because it has been like 20 something years. But like, I don't know, like these are the topics of what we just discussed. These are the reasons why everyone loves Dragon Ball: character development, power scaling, stuff like that. So try not to ruin it.
Yeah, it seems like the scope got more serious, but you don't really have a serious feeling about it either. Like they kind of make a joke of everything.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like before, the world's going to end and it's this big ordeal. I felt like the only time it was dramatic was when Goku was fighting Hit.
I think Goku Black was the only serious part, and the Tournament of Power.
Even the Goku Black thing. Yeah, it did, but even the Goku Black thing was just that one was difficult because I really like the Goku Black arc, but then the ending of the Goku Black arc just like Trunks. As much as I love Trunks as a character, like I had no clue what the fuck was going on at the end there.
It was a mind fuck. So like Zeno erased everything, and then like Whis fixed it by using his time thing or something like that. It was wild.
Yeah, I don't. Man, that
and don't get me started. Do you guys remember how shit the animation was throughout like the revival of F? Like,
oh god!
In the TV show, the movie was good, but in the TV show, it was.
Some fan made a supercut using some of the stuff from prior to Frieza arriving for the Resurrection F movie, and then clipped in the shots from the movie with the actual show for the fighting. And I was just like, okay, this is pretty good. But the show's version of Resurrection F is terrible. It's so much worse than the Battle of God stuff.
DeepHumor, what would you say is your favorite Dragon Ball Z movie?
Movie?
Yeah, of the 13, I think there were.
Oh my god, okay. I love the original Broly movie. Oh my god, Broly was a fucking badass. I still like him now, but he was just a monster. Like that's a villain right there. He was so sadistic. I love that one, and I'm tied between that one and Fusion Reborn because Gogeta is just such a fucking badass, dude.
Yeah.
And that movie just had so many great moments with Super Saiyan 3 and Janemba. Yeah, it was awesome.
The fight choreography was really, really good for that movie in particular. Janemba had a lot of cool techniques. He didn't have much of a character though. So it's just kind of like, but did the character really matter? No, you just wanted to see the fusion, you wanted to see the fighting and the special effects, and they brought it back a little bit to like actual like fighting forms,
martial arts.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Like, for example, if you guys remember that movie in the fight, when Janemba transformed and he was fighting Super Saiyan 3, Goku still had the upper hand for a little bit. But then Janemba started using his teleporting techniques to shoot energy blasts through the dimensions and shit. Then Goku started having trouble. I think that is really cool. I think that's better than the whole, I'm transforming. Now I'm stronger than you. I'm going to beat you up for 30 minutes now until you transform. You know? I mean...
I completely agree.
It was awesome.
Goku's Super Saiyan 3 transformation there, I loved that more than the one that was canon.
Yeah, because the pitch of his voice, it started breaking. It was awesome.
And the animation.
Like, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, I know we all hate Funimation now, but let's not pretend like Sean Schemmel and Chris Sabat aren't fucking fantastic voice actors. I think they're great.
No, I mean, that's the thing. You need to be able to separate the art from the artist. And I think that if you can do that, then you shouldn't have an issue watching the dubs. It's become a little bit harder for people to do because when they watch the dubs, all they're starting to hear is all the crap that these two say now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I got a question for you about Dragon Ball. Something I love asking. Who's your favorite character in Dragon Ball? Both the original up to Super.
I'm boring, man. Goku. Goku's my favorite character.
That's so boring.
But Piccolo is criminally underrated. Fucking love Piccolo, dude. He is so awesome.
He is. I really did like that they got to bring him in for the latest movie.
Hopefully he like fuses with Zalama or something and becomes like just OP. That would be fucking awesome. If you guys know who Zalama is, he's like the creator of the Super Dragon Balls, and he's a Namekian.
Oh,
that'd be a cool story arc. Because you know how Namekians, their whole power scaling thing revolves around fusing with each other.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome.
Piccolo, when he was Piccolo Jr. in the original Dragon Ball series, it was I mean, that's still probably one of my favorite fights to watch. It's so old, but I just fucking love it.
That fight was brutal, dude. That was as grimy as it gets, man. Oh gosh.
Speaking of brutal fights, how about the Broly versus Goku segments in the newest movie? Like when he was slamming Goku around, like you could feel the damage. Like it was
completely
crazy.
Agree.
It was crazy.
But the original Broly movie, man. Oh my god.
And everybody's
Broly
just kind of like
swatting everybody away.
Everybody's just like bouncing off of him.
Pretty much. He's just like on fucking steroids. Just Hulk Hogan over here, just fucking on roids, and he's like 9 feet tall. Just clotheslining people, dude.
It's funny. I think that we can agree that the original Z movies, Broly was both the best villain and the worst villain, because originally he was the best villain, and then you have the next 2 movies with Broly where he just becomes absolutely terrible.
We don't talk about Bio Broly. Just
where it's like frickin' Videl fighting him.
That's like Dragon Ball Evolution, dude. Let's just not talk about it.
Well,
man,
aside from Dragon Ball, what's your... You don't have to say second or third, but 2 of your other favorite animes.
I actually... You guys are going to hate me, but I'm not really a fan of anime.
Oh.
I love Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is my favorite. Dragon Ball, the whole franchise, I love it. It's so amazing. I just think it's so different from any other anime. I know everyone's going to disagree, but just the aesthetic and the themes in it and stuff like that, I just love it. But I did like Yu-Gi-Oh! And I did like Pokemon. Those are probably the other 2 where I'm like, I really love those.
Have you ever seen Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, or
No.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
Nope.
Try them out, man. I think you'll like them. Even now, even though they're old. Because these are kind of like the gateway anime, like Dragon Ball. Because like you, Dragon Ball was the only one I used to like. When I saw these other ones, I'm like, wow. Maybe
Who are your guys? What's your favorite Dragon Ball character? BPM?
You know, I'd have to say Piccolo. Get like his transition from.
Oh, I was joking. I thought you were gonna say Broly outright.
No, I mean yes and no.
And he couldn't. He didn't want to go with. He didn't want his abbreviation to be PPM.
PPM.
You know, Piccolo's best dad. And he's kind of like the best villain too for the longest time.
He's awesome. He's my 3rd favorite. Vegeta has to be number 2. I'm boring. I'm sorry, but that's my top 3 right there. But Piccolo, I like how they did it. His role in Dragon Ball Z, like towards like the end of the Cell Saga, he wasn't the strongest, but he was still up there. And at the beginning of the Cell Saga, he was the strongest. He was the strongest Z fighter after he absorbed Kami. He went toe to toe with 17. If anyone else tried that at the time, they would have got destroyed.
Yeah, I like how they kept him relevant, and it made sense, like his power scaling, like you said, with the fusions.
Yeah, that's true.
And like after he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber and fought the Cell Juniors, he was holding his own. He wasn't the strongest person there. Obviously, it was between Gohan, Goku, and all them. But I mean, Piccolo was holding his own. He was doing well.
What do you think?
That's what I want.
What do you think?
The Hell Zone grenade. That's still one of my favorite things.
I fucking love that move, dude.
Why didn't he ever do that again?
Because it didn't work.
I mean, 17 had that special shield.
I would have loved to see him do that during the Tournament of Power, though. For real.
Why did Team 4-Star kind of played on this, but why didn't he ever name any of his attacks nail gun after the merger? Like, come on.
That would have been poetic. It would have been awesome. And
it even has a cool name.
Oh yeah, they were arguing in his head. TFS, I know people hate them now because they kind of, sort of lean towards Kickpick a little bit, but I think TFS is a masterpiece. It's so good.
No, I look, honestly, I'm not too sure where they lean just because they don't speak publicly about it. Yeah, the Kimlin Tran thing. I was really pissed because she got a parody account suspended. But you know, she came out later. She clarified. She apologized for what she did. So far, I haven't seen them do anything though. And if you're not going to be out there publicly campaigning for something, I mean, if you're really going to remain neutral, then I don't even know what to say. I don't want to call them out on being for one side or the other.
Obviously, they have their thoughts and their feelings, and they have their biases, but that they've kept out of things as well as they have, with as much pressure that comes to them to take a stance. It's actually incredible. So props to them.
Yeah, I think they're making the right decision. Just stay out of it. If you don't want to, face community backlash, just stay out of it. Just make your thing. Like, we love them for their abridged series. Just focus on that. And by the way, speaking of Kim Lin Tran, someone told me that she actually replied to my Chris Rager tweet. I just never saw it. And
I did see something in somebody's video. I saw one of her tweets.
Yeah, she replied to me when I called her out for banning a parody account, and I'm just like, you work on a parody, this is disgusting. And I was like, my dad's from a country where you're not even allowed to speak out against the ruling class. Like, you can't say anything bad about the king. And she responded to me. It was pretty nice, because she goes like, I forget that my parents come from a similar background. And I was just like, that's pretty cool. I don't want to say anything beyond that, because, it seems like she understood that what she did was really messed up. And she hasn't come out and started swinging again and trying to do the same thing. So
I don't think she realized how much traction she had. And people want the drama. Just not as many people want it as people who do, but people still want the drama.
True. I tried to do like this whole parody expose thing with you, and I tried to be as ridiculous as I could when I made this post about how it's good. I even ended the post with caw, like a bird, and people took it seriously.
Yeah, that one
they thought
comment
you were calling other crows.
that
Assemble.
That one comment that was like a thumbs down. I just LOL'd. So I laughed so hard.
I felt so bad, because there were people like, I wonder who it is, and they were trying to like guess, and they're like, "Oh, is it Perfection?" No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. We would know if it was Perfection. It's got to be somebody else. And I'm just like, Jesus, guys, come on.
By the way, guys, look out for my Sammy Exposed video coming out.
Well, that's a real exposed video, not like my exposed video. So get outraged.
DeepHumor, what would be the most moving moment of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Super for you?
Just ones that brought out the most emotion in me.
Yeah, which one do you think made you feel something the most?
I think Goku sacrificing himself by teleporting Cell away was very sad. And I think the way that he was smiling when he did it, it really defined his character. Yeah. And how he's just such a carefree guy, and he doesn't really take death too seriously, And I think Vegeta blowing himself up when he was Majin Vegeta, that was also really sad. And this is from one of the only canon movies in Dragon Ball. I mean, now all the movies are canon, but most of the old movies were not canon. You guys know what I mean? But the history of Trunks was canon. And when he found future Gohan lying in the rain, face down, dead.
Yeah.
That was pretty fucked up. Yeah.
That is one of the saddest ones.
And those are the ones that made me feel upset, but the ones that made me like get goosebumps because it was so badass. Broly's original transformation, Super Saiyan 3 transformation, basically Goku and Vegeta's whole fight when he was a Majin. That was awesome. And like what you're saying, BPM, about fight choreography, that was some of the best in the show.
Mm-hmm. I think for me the most moving moment is the whole Gohan transformation in the Super Saiyan 2. It's not that much fighting going on. There's not that much fighting animation. It's just kind of really dramatic, but that whole thing is just like, dang. And then when he has that epic beam battle with Cell, and you have all the other Z fighters chipping in, it would have been so good just to end the series after that, I feel.
No, I don't want it to end. No, but you're right.
Vegeta finally gives up his pride, it's just like when he chips in, it's like, hell yeah, finally.
Oh, he fires that Cell from behind?
It's like
why didn't the other Z fighters do that? Why did they just go to behind Cell and just start fucking beating the crap out of him?
Don't ask questions
I
like that.
I don't know why they had to stack next to each other.
Why did they stand there and watch them transform? Like, we can't.
I'm putting too much logic into your Dragon Ball.
It's the ego. They love the battles. Even Krillin.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if Krillin just used the Destructo Disc on Cell from behind.
Quack!
On his arm.
Well, he would have regen. Oh, that was one of the biggest plot holes of the show, where Cell regen after Goku blew off his fucking torso and his head, and Cell was like, and Cell, remember later Cell described when he got eviscerated from blowing himself up while killing Goku, he said a cell in his brain survived, but Goku blew off your goddamn head, and you were able to regen from that.
Yeah, and one was a power loss and the other was a power gain. What? It wasn't just like a power restore, it was like, now I'm twice as powerful.
They explained it with, like, I guess, a Zenkai boost because he has sand cells, but I don't know.
And it's definitely a very critical, not mortal injury when you have your entire upper body blown to bits.
That's nothing, dude. It's like your grandparents, like, back in my day, I got my torso blown off. Don't complain about your paper cut.
But for real, like, there are so many times when I'm watching that Cell fight, I'm just like, if you guys just did this and stopped talking, you could have defeated Cell.
The good old, you blast him into smoke and you're like, yes, I've defeated him. And then the smoke clears and then they're there and they're like, damn it, I thought I had him. And it's just like, really?
Freaking Vegeta
keep
literally got
attacking,
pimp
guys.
slapped. Literally got pimp slapped.
Speaking of the movies that you were talking about, it's kind of funny how there's like a theme in the movies where Vegeta shows up with like a badass entrance and then he just get absolutely eviscerated in like 5 minutes.
It's like, just kidding, guys, he's still irrelevant.
I you know what, I gotta say this, because in Dragon Ball, I think my favorite character is probably Piccolo Jr., just because of everything he does in that final arc. Is so amazing. I guess I could extend that out to his daddy, too. But in Dragon Ball Z, I gotta give it to Vegeta. Like, every time he's in the show, he is entertaining as all fuck. Like, you cannot just... Anytime Vegeta shows up, it is way more entertaining to have him there than it is without Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Even if he's just there to job, even if he's going to get his ass beat, like, when he gets his ass kicked in by fucking Android 18, I'm still going there like, damn, fucking Vegeta, come on, man. You can do this.
Please tell me you guys remember Sad for You.
Oh, yeah.
The TFS version was so funny. Right when he finished his sentence, Android 18 just broke his arm.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite arc from Team 4 Star?
That Cell one was a masterpiece. Around the end,
Yeah.
the way each one of their lines with Gohan saying everything, it was so, like, they're so good with their Easter eggs. They are so good with their Easter eggs.
I love.
Like, if you watch the whole series, they would reference things from like episode 4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, they were really good at that.
Yeah, they recycled a lot of humor, but they did it in like the perfect way where it wasn't like cringy, and they had like, I don't know, it was well done. I really liked the Namekamania episode. And frickin' Raccoon, and I loved Ghost Nappa.
And his name's Raccoon.
No, Ghost Nappa was great. Shut up, Ghost Nappa!
Ghost Nappa. Vegeta.
No, I'll give it to
Vegeta.
I'll give it to I'll give it to their Frieza, because their Frieza is just fucking great.
The Frieza voice actor they use now sounds like that guy. I thought they were the same person.
I know, right? It's really close.
Because the old Frieza sounded like a 90-year-old smoker, but this one, we have to be honest, with a series like Dragon Ball, a lot of our opinions are going to be around one thing, which is nostalgia, you know?
Yeah.
Because, like, if I heard another Goku in the English dub, I would never accept it, because I'll be like, he'll never be as good as Sean. But it's mostly because of nostalgia. And plus, I just think that Sean is really good. And same thing with Chris, with Vegeta and Piccolo.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I guess Yamcha.
Yeah, nobody cares about that guy. Like, Krillin and Yamcha are just there to power up their friends when they get smacked around or exploded, get a hole punched through their stomach.
Senzu Bean.
Have a biscuit.
Goldo.
Well,
like honestly, oh man, dude, Team 4 Stars is great. The Krillin own count was amazing.
I think their series got better as it went along. Like, when I watched the first episode like 8 years ago, because they made it a very long time ago, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And then as it just kept developing, their humor and their Easter eggs and just their banter was just so much better. And the sneaky little references to the show is so, it's so good.
The parody they did for the Broly movie is probably my favorite one of all the movie parodies that they've done.
That was very good.
It was amazing. So amazing. I named myself.
You're naughty. Goku, get me out of here! Get me out of here right now!
Where do you see your channel going from here, DeepHumor? Do you have any plans, or just more stuff about feminism, Dragon Ball?
I don't know, just topical topics, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and drag this Vic situation out for no reason, just for money. Like, I actually stopped making videos on it for a little bit and started focusing on the James Charles thing that happened, if you guys know about that. But everybody just keeps asking me to make videos about Vic and the situations around Vic, because it's updates, like different things keep happening. It's not like I sit there and say, you know what, this is why Vic is innocent.
It's almost like there's a supply and demand for this.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think I heard someone make that in a video one time. But in terms of the new developments, like every time I tweet about something or make a video about something, the replies are just, oh, did you hear about this or this or this? And I'm just like, yeah, I did. Do you guys want to see that? And they're like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's bad to make a video or so about that every now and then, but like you said, you don't want to make that the only thing your channel's about, right?
Yeah.
I do.
Some other people.
Oh man, I don't know, BP. Do you really need me to make another exposed video about you?
I'll make one.
You guys should both make exposed videos. But I'm still
I'll use a caw.
I'm still making the SG Sammy. Yo!
Oh god. Okay, I'll be frank for everybody listening. To what BP described to me so far, it had me busting up laughing all last night. So just seeing that play out is going to be the greatest thing.
Look forward to it.
All right. Well, we've been going at this for a little bit now. I think we went on a little bit longer than we normally do, plus our little pre-chat meeting. So let's go ahead and call it a here. Are you guys cool with that?
Good.
Sure.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of The Couch Crows with me, your host, Andrew the Comic Crow. And please tune into BPM, Broly, Power, Maximum, and DeepHumor. Please say your words, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, DeepHumor, for coming on. Really had fun talking to you.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to be a part of the most entertaining episode. Eat an apple, guys.
Ooh. Oh, man. All right, guys.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking.
No, he's totally serious. I'm cutting the audio right now.
Eat an apple, guys.
All right.
Good deal.
That was